So the Dallas Cowboys spanked the Las Vegas Raiders 33-16. What are we supposed to do with that? Kind of what we expected. A Monday night football game. There was much ado about nothing. I don't even know why this even was a Monday night football game. Only that this had been in the 70s, the 80s. I'm trying to think the early part of the 90s. And then about 20, I want to say about 22, 23 years ago, this would have been an interesting game between these two franchises. But the West, the Cowboys and the Raiders play today is like kind of watching a late night fight or a late night movie with a couple actors that are only big in name only and they're well past the pull date, or getting that duet song between two former superstars who are now in has been territory, and you're sitting there kind of like, what's the big deal? And this was really, of course, that Prescott looks good in games like this. This is the Cowboys that people were expecting to show up. Yeah, they're now 4-5-1, but it's a little too late. I mean, for crying out loud. Yes, they're ahead of Washington and the Giants, but that ain't saying much. They're nowhere near Philadelphia. They got an ugly stretch coming. And basically, for all intents and purposes, though they're not officially eliminated, they're pretty much eliminated because let's just keep it a full buck. They're not catching. There are three teams in the NFC West, and Seattle, the 49ers, and the Rams that are ahead of them. And then they've already lost to Carolina, for crying out loud, who's over 500. So they've got their work cut out for them. They got that tie with Green Bay, but they still got to play the Lions. They already lost to the Bears. So you're pretty much mathematically eliminated, and you're not catching those teams. You're not in the hunt for that. You got to hope maybe Green Bay will fall off. You got to hope maybe Detroit will fall off. You got to hope a lot of things crazy have got to happen. Because even though, remember, you're 4-5-1, and then you got the next couple of games at home in Dallas, including a game against Kansas City. But basically, you're one loss away from it being kaput. And, that's kind of where Dallas is at this stage. So beating up on Geno Smith and Pete Christmas Carol ain't exactly anything to get all excited about. But Dak looked good. They ran the ball good. And Geno Smith was doing Geno Smith things. So, I mean, what do you expect? Unless you're a Raiders fan and you like misery and pain, and this is what you signed up for. Oh, man, what happened to the Raiders?